Welcome back to the overtime. Keeping up with rivalry spirits, OT sports reporter Gagliardi takes a look at the big crosstown game between Flagstaff and Coconino high schools.
Flagstaff High School first opened in 1923 and remained the only high school in town until Coconino opened in 1967. Since then, the tension has gotten thick, and the energy their rivalry brings to this small town reaches the top of the San Francisco peaks. Coaches from both schools have deep ties to this community, and they believe that this rivalry elevates more than just the athletes.
It's rivalries in the state of Arizona, and the gyms are packed, the kids are having fun, the cheerleaders are at their best. It's a great venue and something I'm very proud to be a part of.
It's always appreciated when the town can come through and they can appreciate the rivalry, they can appreciate the work that these student athletes put in, and they can come support that, whether they're cheering for Coco, whether they're cheering for Flag. It's always nice to see the town come out. And then typically for these games, the student bodies really come out and they really come up. And it's fun seeing them kind of go back and forth at each other, see who the most creative and the most spirited and so.
Coconino High School senior Joe Martinez depicts the student body's perspective going into these high-intensity matchups.
You might throw some shade at the other team because that's how you feel the other team to play at their best, you know, and then they'll do the same, you know, when our crowd is battling their crowd on who's going to be louder, and whoever comes out on top is just like, this is our house.
The community fuels this rivalry by creating a wild atmosphere for the athletes. However, these athletes thrive off of it.
I believe the crowd, you know, it's super live, super energetic. You know, I love the feeling.
I always tell our freshmen that it's bigger than you think it is. It's very chaotic, and everybody that you know is there. It's hard to not let it get to your head sometimes, but at the end of the day, everybody's just there. It's just a game, but it's definitely intense, and you have to yell all the time.
While this rivalry has been heating up over the last few years, it truly has been a generational tradition.
It's always been a Flagstaff thing. From what I heard, it's always been a rivalry. I would say it has gotten bigger in my eyes because, I don't know, I just experience it more. And both teams just been so good where they're in the playoffs every year. So just great rivalry every year.
Between the athletic competition, wild atmosphere, and generational history, the Coconino Flagstaff High School rivalry is a must-see attraction.
Thank you, Susie and Raj, for that package. Moving on to NAU women's basketball. Jacey Bailey is a versatile and dynamic player for the NAU women's basketball team. This week, I caught up with her, some of her teammates, and head coach. Take a look.
NAU redshirt junior Jacey Bailey has been making an impact ever since she has arrived at NAU in 2017. Coach Loree Payne noticed right away how strong she was as a player and student.
Jacey's an athlete. I mean, I know the kid is really strong academically, and she had so much potential as an athlete, and so that was really our first impression, knowing she could do some really good things in the Big Sky.
Jacey has a fun personality and has a lot of fun traits that describe her. At least, that's what her friends, point guard Caitlin Malvar and forward Khiarica Rasheed, tells us.
First of all, she's Canadian. Second of all, she's vegan. Third of all, she fuels up all day, every day on pure 100% Canadian maple syrup.
Well, she's really stylish. She dresses like a hip hop dancer. She wears really baggy things, but it always looks really good on her. And she does her hair really good, actually. I really like her hair.
As a player, Coach Payne says Jacey has made a big difference on the court.
The fact that she can play inside out, she can bring the ball up, she can also play our 5 players, so, you know, just her being able to play multiple positions is a huge attribute.
With Jacey finishing her 3rd year at NAU after transferring from Florida Atlantic, she says it's been quite a ride.
I just really like how we have like a sense of family. As a whole team. I really like just how we are really united. That's one of the words we have too as a team. We talk about being united all the time, and I really like that aspect, and I think it really shows out on the court as well.
Khiarica Rasheed describes a moment with Bailey during her time at NAU that always comes to mind when thinking about her as a teammate.
So we were on the fast break, and Jacey had the ball in transition, and she fumbled the ball. She fumbled the ball, and she caught it back and did the splits and tossed it back to the teammate. And we scored. And it was pretty crazy. We should never got the layup, but we did. That was my favorite one.
As the NAU women's team heads into the final stretch run of their season, Jacey says she has one thing on her mind.
Honestly, I'm just looking forward to winning. I think that is definitely in our near future. I think we have great potential to go far this year in the tournament, and I'm just excited to get these next few conference games out of the way and start conference tournament.
Thanks to the women's basketball team for their cooperation with this team spotlight on Jacey Bailey. Next up, we have our weekend previews. Sports reporter Gabriel Dixon lets us know what's coming up next. Stay tuned after the break.